Welcome to A Well-Designed Business with your host, Luann Nigara. Luann has a lifetime of experience building a multi-million-dollar business with her husband and cousin, and she knows the challenges you face in your interior design business. Luann brings you real-life answers to your most pressing problems, as well as practical strategies to explode your interior design business. So, let's get to the business of interior design.
Hey everybody, welcome to A Well-Designed Business and another episode of Power Talk Friday. I have Yian Quach on with me today on Power Talk Friday, and I'm so excited. Hi Yian, how are you?
I'm super excited as well, Luann. Thanks for having me.
I love doing this, I have to say. I love doing it with strangers, with everybody. It's so much fun when I do it with people that I already know and like and love. So this is tons of fun for me, Yian. Thank you for being here. Now, I know who you are, but not everybody out there might know who you are. So I'm going to give everybody a little bit of information on Yian, and then Yian and I have got a special treat for you. So here we go. So Yian helps professionals in the design industry cure their website pains so you can grow your business, okay? His clients have been published in top shelf magazines, including Architectural Digest, Lux, Hudson Mod, and Editor at Large. The thing about Yian is he brings a rare combination of skills in the areas of website design, copywriting, coding, and the familiarity of all the nuances of our interior design industry. Yian, you might know him because he has regularly been at industry trade shows. Just in this past year, he was at High Point Spring Market, Brooklyn Designs, ICFF, where we were together and did a Facebook Live for Curated Kravitz, the D&D Building Spring Market, and later this month, he is going to be at Las Vegas Furniture Market. I'm going too. That's so cool, Yian. I'm glad we're going to see each other again. So I just want to share with you that there is a particular mention on his website that I thought was interesting. In addition to his role as website doctor, Yian also truly loves educating. And in fact, his original career was as an English teacher. And one of his clients, Kim Powers, said this as a testimonial on his website. When Yian proposes certain wording or a certain photo, he always has a sound reason, and he always takes the time to explain his thought process to me. So I just love this man. You have been designing websites since 2015. You were originally from Seattle, Washington, and we're lucky to have you here in New York with us now. So, but, you know, we hardly, I don't know, I think we know each other like 3 months, and it feels like 100 years. I feel like you've been my friend forever.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so here's the thing, Yian, I'm just going to tell you what. I have known you, and I did look at your website when I first met you, just like I do almost every person I met. And then getting ready for today's show, I thought, oh, go back to Yian's website and take a look again. And oh my goodness, was I so happy because you have redone your own website. And this is what I love. You had me at hello. I cure website pain. That's like the first thing you see when you open your website. And I just thought that was so genius. And we talk about that all the time. Tell people what you do for them. So tell us about that, Yian. I cure website pain.
Yeah. So, and I have to premise this by giving a shout out to two very special people who have been on your show, Nancy Ganzikoffer and Fred Burns, who are, I think of them as thought leaders who created the foundation for this idea, this articulation of I cure website pain. Fred Burns obviously talks a lot about pain in his, philosophy about marketing. So, Hi guys, Nancy, Fred, you guys rock.
I know, they are awesome, aren't they?
Awesome. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to read this brief paragraph here, and so your listeners can hear it. Hi, I'm Yian Quach. I cure website pain. Website pain comes in various forms. For example, for some, it's losing out on new business because their website doesn't project professionalism. For others, it's attracting the wrong clients because their website sends the wrong signals. And for those who already have enough business, it might be feeling underappreciated as a designer because their website doesn't frame their work attractively. Do you have website pain?
I love it. I love it. It just gets right to the heart of it. And I'm not surprised that you have gotten such great advice from the combination of those two fabulous coaches, Nancy Gantzikaufer and Fred Burns, because they're so clear. I love talking with both of them, and it's the truth. I always come away and go, and as a matter of fact, it's so funny that I'm going to share with everybody, Ian, what you suggested that we do on this particular show. And of course, it leads right back to what I was just about to say is, first of all, I'm going to share with everybody that Ian has he has figured out a criteria list of 12 items in which to evaluate websites by. So if you were to work with Ian, one of the first things that he's going to do is he is going to use his 12 criteria and see what he objectively thinks about your website. And then he is going to give it a grade from A+ to E. And so Ian said to me about 5 minutes ago, we're off air before we started recording, what do you think about if we do that with your website live on air? And, I had about a half a second of, are you out of your mind? And then I was like, you know what? All right, let's do it. Well, let's just do it. Who knows? And I said to him, all right, I could take it on the chin. Let's do it for the sake of humanity.
Well, I don't. This is the thing, and this is the beauty of this list, is that they're so objective, and that we're going to go through them. And honestly, I'm looking at your website, and I don't think it's going to have a very bad grade at all. I think
thank God.
Yeah. So we'll see. And the listeners, you all, when we go through this list, and if you have this website, Luann's website in front of you, you can literally do this for yourself. So this is not my opinion about the merit, the quality of this website. This is a grade based on objective criteria, and I'm a very objective guy. I've always been. I majored in math, and I think that's actually very foundational to my approach to a lot of things. I like things to be measurable so that we can improve them. You know.
All right.
So, and there's one more thing I want to say, Luann, before we jump into the 12 things. You mentioned that you said, if you work with Ian, the first thing he's going to do, blah blah blah. 12 things. I want to make a point here. I want to make a distinction. The very first question that I'm that I'm listening for when I speak with a new potential client is, do they have website pain?
Okay.
Because their website could literally be an E on this list. But if they are not feeling pain for their business, if redoing their website is not going to help them in some tangible way, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So and that's why I put this idea of pain right up front and center. So I just want to make that distinction.
Okay, that's okay. Good point. So okay, so what should we do? You're going to tell us the 12 criteria, and you'll tell us the criteria, and then we'll look for that where we evaluate that on my website while we're in real time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's try that. And,
all right, I have my, what do they call it? I have my armor on. I'm ready to go.
Oh no! The armor the armor doesn't come yet. We're just going through the criteria first. So why don't I go through? I don't know if it'll be best to interrupt and talk about each one in detail as we go through, or go through first. I'm not sure. We'll play it by ear.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So here we go. This is a dozen criteria here, guys. 12 criteria by which to evaluate a website. Number 1, does the website feel clean and easy to use? Okay, I put this and I put this right up in front because this is the number one thing that will get people leaving your website quick, is if it feels like work. Now, what contributes to it feeling easy and clean to use? Layout. Is it neat? Right? The imagery, the navigation especially. Is it easy to navigate around your website, both on a mobile phone and desktop? Okay. Number 2, does the website feel complete and up to date? In other words, let's talk about the portfolio. Is the recent work in there? Testimonials. If the testimonials are dated, are they recent? The blog. I know, Luann, you've talked about this a lot. Better just take that blog off than have an outdated blog. Right?
Last post, 1962.
Exactly. Number 3.
I want to go to that one.
Absolutely. Number 3, does the website feel thoughtfully written and succinct? Right? And I put these together because good website copy is both. It's succinct in the sense that, and here's my rule of thumb, it shouldn't fill more than one screen full on an iPhone 5.
Okay.
So this is what I mean. If they're reading a paragraph and it fills that screen, the next thing they should see when they scroll is either a photo or a video, something. And now this is not a hard and fast rule, because let's say an FAQ page, that's obviously going to be text heavy, right? I'm talking generally a rule of thumb. We need to be bouncing back between text and photos, especially this day and age in 2015.
Okay.
17. Wow, 2015. And thoughtfully written, not only succinct, but is it thoughtfully written? Does it address? Is it almost like a mind reader, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, like you want people when they're reading your copy to go, yes, oh wow, that's what I need to know, or that's great, right?
Exactly. When we sit when we sit through a good PowerPoint presentation, one thing that's good about it is they answer our questions in the order that they know we want to hear them. They anticipate, they understand our needs even better than we do sometimes. And that's what a website needs to do. Luann, when you came to my website today, you said you had me at hello because I told you what you wanted to know.
Right.
So is it thoughtfully written? It's not enough for it to be succinct. Succinct is a task of editing text down. Being thoughtfully written is really going to the heart of crafting language and thinking about messaging. Okay. Number 4, does the website feel fresh? Right. And actually, this is a little bit overlap with up to date, but again, the portfolio, the blog, testimonials, fresh, is also it goes beyond just date though. It goes also into the work. Is the work current? Is it in demand?
Okay.
And this goes more towards business as well, right? Mm-hmm. Number 5, does the website feel guided? Okay. And this is what I mean. As we're going through that website, do we have signposts, buttons leading us to where we want to go? For example, when we get to the bottom of a portfolio page, we've just seen a particular project. Is there a button that says go back to all projects?
Right. Like, don't leave me lost. Don't leave me down a road and I don't know how to get back to where I started.
Exactly.
That is annoying when you're like on a website and you found something that's interesting, but there's still something else you wanted to see on this page but you have to go to the next page. If you can't make your way back, it's sort of like, yeah, okay.
And that's a question, and that's called user experience, UX in the industry. It's user experience, and that is someone thinking through, putting themselves in the shoes of that visitor and saying, okay, and now that they've got to the bottom of this page, are they going to have to scroll all the way back up just to get where they want to go? That's a flaw in user experience.
Right. Okay.
Right. And guided, it's not only buttons, it's also little phrases. Like, for example, on my homepage, as you go down, before I give some testimonials on my homepage, I have a very simple phrase. It says, what clients have said. So now I'm preparing someone to read some testimonials.
Right.
A website is almost like a conversation between visitor and website, right?
Yeah.
A website is almost like a automated PowerPoint presentation. It can be if it's done in a particular style and it's done well.
Right.
And so that's what I mean by feeling guided. Different websites will have different levels of guidedness, and it's not always appropriate for it to be completely 100% guided or whatever, but there always should be an element of that. So Number 6, does the website feel beautiful? Not only the layout and stuff, but the photos. And this is obviously especially important for people who are in the design industry, because that's their work. That's their assets, right?
Yes.
Does the work feel beautiful? And the work feeling beautiful goes beyond whether it's beautiful or not. A beautiful photo could be snapped of a room, but if it is not large enough on a screen, if it is not laid out for impact in the layout, we can lose beauty in the work.
So you're talking about like the subjective content of the photo is one element, but you're talking about the way it's placed within the website page. Has it been placed in a beautiful manner in relation to the rest of the things happening on that page?
That's right. Okay. How is it presented? Is it presented beautifully? And it also obviously requires a certain level of beauty in the photo itself.
Right, but that's more subjective. What's beautiful to one and not to another.
Yeah, to a certain extent it's subjective. I mean, it should look... I mean, we know when we're looking at professional photos of interiors, and so, but I would argue that we could take two websites, an average, a website with average photography, and a website with A+ photography, and if we present that average photography well enough, and if that beautiful photography is not presented well enough, I would challenge people to just ask the question: which website feels better to you? Which person feels like something you would want to work with?
Right.
Okay. So number 7, does the website feel personal enough? And I use this word enough here. This is the only one on this list that there's the word enough, because obviously for certain really high-end designers, they want to feel a little bit exclusive, a little bit out of reach. That's part of the appeal, right? And but does the website feel personal enough? Does it feel approachable enough that someone can feel comfortable to reach out?
Okay.
Right? On the low end of approachability is a website that literally has only photos, no text about the photos. It's got a contact page. It's got a very brief bio, maybe 100 words. That's pretty much on the low end, right? On the high end, you've got a website in which, the person is talking in first person. They've got a video where they're looking directly into the screen. They're talking to you. Okay.
Right.
And so obviously one of the objectives of a website is to turn a warm lead into a hot lead. And one way to do that is to, convey that approachability, right? And help people feel comfortable. So does the website feel personal or approachable enough? Okay. Number 8, does the website feel cohesive? And here's what I mean. I'm talking specifically about voice here. Every website has a voice. Sometimes websites have too many voices going on at the same time, right?
Okay, right.
When we arrive on a website, the very first words we read, they have voice. They're either spoken in third person, they're spoken in first person, they're either spoken formally, casually. They have a voice. And if a website can be created with a cohesive voice, in which as a visitor goes through pages, the conversation continues and they feel like this person is talking to them, that can be very powerful in terms of, communicating.
Right. And in terms of making them take the next move to contact you because they feel like they're already friends with you.
Absolutely.
Or know you.
Absolutely. And if there are a variety of voices, right? If there are different people talking during the website, like Luann on your, I think it was one of your pages, you speak in the first person, and we'll go to this when we go to your website, but you speak in the first person, but there was no transition to signal that.
Okay.
Then we can have disconnects in voice.
Okay.
And it takes someone a couple seconds to catch up with themselves and say, oh, okay, the voice has changed here, and they do. And so there's that little pause. And I call that I'm gonna go on a little segue here, a little tangent here, because this is a very important point in my approach to web design. I call that losing a little bit of life meter. And this is what I mean. Life meter. Imagine a video game, right? Imagine a video game. You're playing a video game and you have a certain amount of life meter. And when you lose that life meter, you lose.
Yeah.
Right. And so when someone goes to your website, you have a certain amount of life meter. You start with 100%. The first thing they see that turns them off in some way, you lose a little bit of life meter. Now,
Right.
if it's just a typo,
A blip or whatever.
just
Yeah.
a blip, whatever, then maybe you lose 1%, 2%, right? If it's like they see the navigation and they see nothing on your homepage, you've pretty much lost like 99% of your life meter right there. Okay. So the voice changing can be these little like hiccups that take away a little bit of life meter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So number 9, does the website feel endorsed, or rather, I should say, does the designer feel endorsed? In testimonials, by social media, right? A lot of people like to call this social proof. Is there proof that this person is trusted?
Right. Objective,
Right.
where somebody could say, "Oh, that's interesting. That's nice to know about them," or la la la.
Yes.
Somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that they can identify with, or an institution or a person that they can identify with, has said that they are valuable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Number 10, does the website feel credible and authoritative? Or rather, we should say, does the designer feel credible and authoritative, right? Do we as visitors trust this person to design for us, right? How is this conveyed? Through publications, through awards. And if it's a young designer who does not have publications and awards yet, then I suggest doing an approach page in which they articulate out their philosophy, because there's more than one way to prove credibility. If we have website A with a bunch of publications and they don't sound intelligible when they talk about design,
right?
And then we have website B who has no awards, but they just sound like they know and they convince us and we trust them.
Right.
That's it.
Yes.
So does the website feel credible and authoritative? And that can be done through publications, awards, an approach page, blog. Right.
So approach page is not an about you page.
No.
Okay, so it's different. Okay.
And I call it an approach page. Some people would call it a philosophy page.
Okay.
Some people would call it a methodology page.
Okay. Or how I work. What do I think about how I work, or something like that, right?
Yes, and it could be the nuts and bolts of how I work, and it could also be the intention behind how I work.
Okay.
It could be the it could just help people to understand where I'm coming from as a designer.
Okay. And that's a valuable tip for a designer that doesn't have a big portfolio yet and doesn't have a whole rack of projects in magazines, is to really think about what their philosophy and what their approach to design is, and to express that in a way that engages the reader coming in.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's a big homework project for a lot of new designers right now.
And the beautiful thing is that it's so accessible to them, for a new designer who's looking to establish credibility and they don't have the publications and awards. This is something that they are in control of. Right. They can do.
Okay.
Right.
I like it.
Number 11, does the website feel actionable? In other words, is it obvious what we're supposed to do?
Okay.
Now for a design professional, it's typically understood by a potential client that the next step would be to reach out and talk to that person, right?
Right. You're not necessarily. Most designers are not selling product. They're not doing whatever.
Right.
They're not closing a sale on the website. Some are, and some things happen. But for the most part, we're talking about situations where your action that you want to happen is the contact for a consultation or a phone call.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And so, but I'll make this point though. I believe that if we don't rely, that we shouldn't rely on people to have that thought, to think to themselves, okay, I've finished reading this website. I know that the next step is to reach out to this person. If we rely on them to do that, and if we don't plant a seed in their head, they might leave without doing it. If we have a button that says, or if we have something that says like ready for the next step or ready to speak with me,
right.
and there's a button that says contact me now,
right?
Yes. if there's
you gotta ask for the sale.
gotta ask for the sale, and this stuff can be very subtle. Someone might not even see it as an action item, but it almost subliminally puts that language in their mind,
right?
And it makes it clear. And not everyone has hired an interior designer before, a design professional before, so this language is important. In a lot of websites that I build, in the navigation, both on desktop and mobile, the very last item of the navigation is a call to action button.
Right.
And we've seen this a lot in web design. It's a pretty common convention now. And that's part of, sending that message. On my website, my action item in my navigation is contact me.
Right. Now, do you suggest, since most designers are not necessarily transacting sales on the website, it is the call to action is a contact. Does it matter? And does there are any statistics or your experience with it where if the call to action actually says, want to talk about your project, or why don't you call me now, or click here to reach us? Is there a difference? Is there a layer, or is that, I guess, speaks to the voice of the rest of the content, right? If the person has been very casual all the way through, then that call to action should probably, I just answered my own question. I know I did, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think you did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it goes along. Like if you're a more formal person, then it might be a more formal, label in that button. But if the whole website has been, hey, this is great, and this is who I am, and la la la, and then it ends with, hey, you want to talk? Let's talk about your project, whatever it is. Okay.
That's right. And to your point, Luann, you're absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. And to your point, I'll piggyback onto that and add this little nugget that buttons, call to action buttons on websites are prime real estate to convey personality. This is what I mean.
Okay.
If the button says contact, okay, that's pretty neutral. If the button says contact me, it conveys a sense of approachability, right? If the button says, let's do this, exclamation mark,
right,
it conveys what? What does that convey?
I don't know, but I think that's the call to action on my new website for Luann Nigara that's not launched yet. I'm just saying. I think it's actually that. Let's do this.
Yeah. Right. But it conveys enthusiasm, right?
Okay, that's what it conveys. So, let's go. Right. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. So voice can really be conveyed through call to action buttons. Mm-hmm. And I know that we all have seen this before. Gimme now. Right. By the way, everyone check this out. I really don't like the word gimme. In call to action buttons. It's my own personal opinion. It's going to turn too many people off. It's just too volatile.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So, yes, number 11 was, does it feel actionable? Okay, number 12, does the website feel polished?
Okay.
Bottom line, does the website feel polished? Interior design, custom window treatments, architecture, these are luxury services that people expect polished presentation. Right? Does the website feel polished? And this obviously is a culmination of a lot of the things that we've already talked about. But it also includes, does the website have obvious flaws, missing links, typos, etc.? These little buttons these little bugaboos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a dozen things to ask ourselves when we look at our own website, and we evaluate our own website. And the next thing that we were talking about, Luann, I was telling you about, is that I actually have a grading system that we can all use to evaluate our website. Do you want to talk about that now?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So this is a very simple system, grading system, A+ to E. So that's A+, A minus, B+, B minus, etc. And an A+ website hits every single thing on this list.
Wow.
All those 12 criteria that we just talked about. An E is missing all 12 of those things on that list.
That's a pretty sad website, right?
It's pretty hurt. It's hurting. It is hurting.
Not one redeemable thing out of 12 criteria.
Well, no, that's not true. It still shows work. It still shows their work,
Okay.
It's still, but yeah, so anyway, and let me just say, everyone, my website is not even A+.
I was just going to say, have you ever even met anybody that their website you would give an A+?
You guys, it is so rare.
Yeah.
It is so rare. I would say, like, out of 100 websites that I see, it's like one maybe. We're talking ideal here. It is
why is yours not an A+? Like, what's the deal with that?
Well, I could tell you.
I think we should evaluate your website now.
I can very honestly and humbly answer that question. And I would give my website, just off the top of my head, without going through them all. How many things am I missing here? I'm missing maybe 1 to 3 things, I would say. Let's see. Feel clean and easy to use. Yes. Feels complete and up to date. Yes. Feels thoroughly written and succinct. Yes. Feels fresh. Yes. Feels guided. Yes. Feels beautiful. Yes. Feels personal enough. No. And this is why. It's pretty personal.
Well, what's funny is I would have to actually look at it again and pretend I don't know you to know if I felt like it felt personal enough, right? Because when you know somebody, you read more into it than when you don't.
That's true. That's true.
Like, I was reading it and I was smiling. I was like, I cure website pain. I'm like, go Ian.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And you can feel me through my writing.
Yes.
But what I'm talking about here in terms of feeling personal is someone being able to feel me, who I am.
Right.
They don't know that I wrote this. For all they know, I could have hired someone to write this website copy.
Right. Okay, so we get one check mark there.
and I'll say one thing I could do to improve this is to put a video on this website. I used to have a video, and I took it down because it ended up not being consistent with where I am right now, but not in alignment. But I should and I will have a video of some format in which someone will, at the end of that video, they will think to themselves, "Oh my God, yes! Like I feel like I know this person." Right. And Luann, those are the words that you used when you were talking about videos. I forget which episode it was, but they had really good videos.
Pope Design Studio, Carolina Gentry, and Beth Tolo. Oh my God. I was like, okay, so I'm just on the phone with my friends.
Exactly.
Oh my God, their website is amazing.
Nailed it. They nailed it on that.
They did.
Right?
A lot of them did. Marie Flanagan also did a great job on her website too with her videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just that they had so many, and I would have to go back and look at Marie's again, but and it's only because hers was so many months beforehand, but I just feel like in Beth and Carolina, like they were relaxed and they laughed and they joked at each other. And that was just like, oh, these ladies are great, you know? And it's so funny because I went into the DXV party for Corey Damon Jenkins and the others that were part of the new crew for DXV this year into New York a couple of weeks ago. And it was hysterical because I'm standing there talking with Kim, and then all of a sudden, there goes Carolina and Beth walking by me like 6 feet away. I've never met them. And I'm like, Beth, Carolina, I'm screaming at them. Like, and then all of a sudden they look at me and I'm like, you're a moron. And they don't know who you are. But they did recognize me, so that was very nice. But I'm like, you know them. They don't know you.
Wait a minute. So let me make sure I understand. Are you saying that when you called out to them, you had only seen their website at that point?
Yes, and met them on the show. Met them by interview on the show.
And met them by show on the interview.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, hold on. We can't use that as a metric then in terms of the website because you talked to them on the show. Now, let me ask you this.
Well,
when you spoke with them, check this out. When you spoke with them initially, when you picked up that phone and those first 10 seconds, did you notice yourself feeling very relaxed with them?
Oh, no. I said to them, I literally, they got on the phone. We got the Skype, started. And I literally said to them, this is really crazy for me because I feel like I'm talking to my two friends. And I know that this is the first sentences we're saying to each other. And they were like, and they're both so down to earth. They're exactly like their website is. And they were both like started laughing and giggling. And I was like, no, because I've watched every one of your videos. And I feel like, like this season of Scandal just ended. Like I want more.
Now, everybody, check this out. Check this out, everybody. Imagine if your clients said that to you, what Luann said to them. Imagine if your client said that to you in your first consultation. Imagine the rapport that has already been established, and imagine how that sets you up for success in that consultation.
I mean, the one thing, I don't remember what they said, but it stuck with me because I think one of them was saying it was beautiful. And so they were describing, they're sitting there and there's a kitchen behind them or something. And one of them is saying, we really and it was really beautiful and this and that and the other thing. And then And you're like, she said it was beautiful like 4 times. And the other one just looked at her and she's like, yeah, it's beautiful. Dying. I'm just like, I want to meet these people.
Exactly. Websites can feel so tight and cold, and these types of little things can totally make or break a sale sometimes. It's amazing. Yeah. So would you like me to finish the list, evaluating my own website? All right. So I could get more personal, and I will. And the reason is, I just haven't done it yet. and
I know that feeling.
8, does it feel cohesive in terms of the voice? Yes, all the way through. You guys can go check it out. Does it feel endorsed? Well, yes, it does. I have some very good endorsements and some very big names in the industry endorsements. Right. I could have more. Right. Does my website feel credible and authoritative? It could be more. If I had some awards, it could be more. But I do meet the baseline level.
Well, but you also do have, like Barry Livingstone, you have, people on there that are recognizable to the interior design industry as heavy hitters. Right. So that's credible. Right.
Absolutely. Barry Livingstone, Barbara Vitteri.
Right, Barbara Vitteri, right, exactly. Yep.
And I could drop another name here since I'm name dropping, is Phyllis Harbinger, who I just launched her website last week, and she's a
industry
great
leader
coach.
For sure.
Great, she's an industry leader, and if you guys don't know Phyllis Harbinger, look her up. So so I do draw some authority from that. I could actually have more authority on here, especially in terms of fleshing out more about my approach. And having a blog and just articulating it out a bit more. Okay. It could be. So anyways, does it feel actionable? 100%. Does it feel polished? It's one of the most polished websites I've ever seen in my life. and I say it totally objectively. Guys, I'm a very objective person. This is not opinion here.
That's funny. Okay, so you only have one strike. You only have one strike. So I guess
no. I would say two and a half. I would say the being personable and credibility and authoritative. I think it could be more. I think it should be more.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would say. So I would give myself, what do I get here? Let's say 2. Let's say 2.
Right.
So I get an A minus.
A minus. All right. Hey, good for you.
A minus is pretty high in my book.
That's That's the truth.
So now, Luann, you mentioned evaluating your website. I would be curious if you could evaluate it yourself, and I don't do much talking at all. I could say out the criteria, and you tell me.
Okay. Well, I'm horrible at this, but I'll give it a shot.
Well, I'll pull it up as well.
Okay.
But you actually know your website better than me, and I think you do
think
understand.
I would.
I think you do understand these criteria.
I do, but it is 18 months old, this website, and in design world, that is getting, on in years. It's like dog years. And I have to say, this is my Achilles heel, it's like, I'll give you the analogy. This is like, there's a lot of things that I'm good at. I'm not like, oh my God, poor Luann, she can't do this. Okay. I'm just very clear on what I'm good at. And I'm really very clear on the things I'm not good at. And one of the things that I'm not good at is this evaluation for style. So I've been doing a website now with Nicole Heimer from Curio Electro, and that is for the Luann Nigara, because one of the things I do know, I will say, I have had enough people tell me that there's too much navigation on the top line of my website. There's too many things. Like, we've got the podcast, we've got To the Trade, we've got About Us, we've got About Luann. But that was how I needed it to be. Like, that's just the simple fact. And I said, I know it's against all the rules, but for the last 18 months, I did not want to separate the Luann Nigara from the WindowWorks platform. I was specifically, with intention, co-branding the podcast to WindowWorks. Okay, so it is a marketing there is a lot of things, this podcast, but at the very end of the day, one of the things, and I'm going to share with you guys the business principle of this podcast, and I don't think I've said this on the podcast before, but I do say to you always, you have to know why you are doing something. You have to know what your objective is. You have to understand what is in it for you. And the reality is that this podcast has become so many things for me that have enriched my life, that have enriched my person, that have enriched my business, that have enriched, my ideals and my dreams. But almost 2 years ago, it'll be 2 years ago, October 2017, so October 2015, the one thing that it was, if it was going to be nothing else, was a marketing vehicle for WindowWorks. That was the reason that a successful business that does over $2 million in gross sales and is already busy and is already a mature company went and did a podcast. It was because maybe all these things would happen from it, but at the bottom line, this is a valid marketing vehicle for WindowWorks. And that was the sale to my husband and to my partner. And the reality is, it has become exactly that. We have earned many new designer clients from the podcast. So the thing was that for me, when experts said to me, this is too many tabs on the top page, I was like, right, but see, my goal isn't just to have a pretty website. My goal is to co-brand this podcast with WindowWorks. So
can I say something about this, Luann?
Yeah.
I love this. And I think you bring up a really, really important point and this is why I love these criteria so much, because it's asking, how does it feel? It's not how many items are there in the navigation. It's how does the navigation feel? Does it feel easy? And I'm looking at your website right now, and I'm not even counting the number of items in your navigation. I'm asking myself, does it feel neat, clean, and easy to use, and easy to navigate? And yes, it does. And that's it.
Okay, good. So that's awesome.
That's it.
All right. Okay. The only other thing that I'll say, so we're going to go through this evaluation. And the last thing I'll say is my Achilles heel is sometimes, and most of the time, the objective evaluation of So I'll relate it to designers like this. Every designer can understand that whatever level of your services and your design that you do, that so maybe not at the very, very, very high end of 1% of interior designers, but most designers will understand that you can have a beautifully appointed room and you can have an accessory in there from Home Goods, right? And if it's well selected and well placed, nobody's going to know what that piece is, right? My thing is this is my Achilles heel. I can't pick that piece from Home Goods and in Home Goods and know that it's not going to look like a $10 item in the right way. You see, I don't have that. I don't have that gift. When I pick the piece from Home Goods, I like it, and I'm not caring if it doesn't look like a $4,000 lamp. I already know that I like it for the $200 that it is. But see, Kimberly at my office has this radar. So if you had Kimberly evaluate our website, she'd be much better and much more critical. So it's interesting. I'll be curious to see if I can pick out the mistakes.
Cool. Yeah. And you know what? That absolutely makes sense, because what you're essentially saying is, I don't believe I have a website eye. I don't have a website design eye. That's what you're saying, you know?
And I'm just like, what's wrong with it? It looks fine to me.
And that totally makes sense.
And what happens is, anytime we design anything, I always have to have Kimberly there with me, because I will be because also too is, look, there's all different personalities. And I'm like, let's get it done. Doesn't it look good enough? We're moving on. And she's like, Lou, no, this is too big. This is too little. I'm like, it is? She's like, yes. And then when she gets them to make the change, I'm like, oh, you're so right. So I can see the Home Goods piece placed when it looks amazing. But when it's sitting on that knick-knack shelf, I'm like, is that going to look cheap?
Absolutely.
So, all right. So, okay. So we're going to make an agreement that my navigation looks fine. Okay. So does it feel clean and easy to use? We're going to say that's fine.
So number 2, does the website feel complete and up to date?
Okay, that's a great question. So does it feel complete? I have no idea how to evaluate that. Like, what are we looking for?
So for a design professional, we're looking at their portfolio, their testimonials, and their blog primarily. Now, do we have a portfolio on this site here?
We do. I am not in love with it, but we do. It's under galleries.
Let's take a look. Let's go into galleries. Okay, so here I am. Blinds, shades, and shutters, carpeting, area, and rugs. And each thing on this page has a thumbnail image. And when we click on the thumbnail image, let's see what happens. If I click on blinds, shades, and shutters, and there's about 10 things on this page. And when we click on blinds, shades, and shutters, we see... Wow, internet. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay, we see examples of blinds, shades, and shutters. Okay, good. And on this page, I'm looking at 7 examples of blinds, shades, and shutters. I'm going to go back to the galleries page. And now I'm guessing that all the categories on this galleries page pretty much have maybe, what do you say, a 5 to 10? In there?
Yep.
Was that a fair? Okay,
yep.
Good. So I would say this portfolio is complete. An incomplete portfolio would be like 2 projects. It's just not, it doesn't have that complete feeling. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So yeah. Another thing to think about whether a website feels complete is, does it have all the necessary elements, the about page, the contact page, everything that you would expect to see on a design professional's website. You know what I mean? And as I'm looking at your website here, yes, it feels complete. And there's nothing that looks out to date to me. Your blog is up to date. Boom, let's move on. Number 3, does your website feel thoughtfully written and succinct? What do you think, Luann?
Well, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about the About Us page? Are we talking about the product pages are we talking about the blog? Like, there's a lot of copy on this website.
Well, I'm going to go to the homepage. And I'm going to read the first paragraph out loud. Is that all right?
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I'm waiting for it to load. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. All right. Ahead. So the first paragraph is, the first thing we read is actually banners. It says custom window treatments, learn more. I'm going to click the arrow to the next slide. Awnings, learn more. I'm going to click to the next slide. Custom window treatments, learn more. So we have a duplicate here in the 3. So already we get we're losing some thoughtfulness here. This is a lack of someone could perceive this as a lack of care.
Okay.
You know, so
God forbid.
now so then we come down and we have 4 thumbnails, window treatments, awnings, wallpaper designs, blinds and shades, and under each thumbnail we have a description. The one for window treatments reads, enjoy our free shop at home service and get expert advice from one of our window treatment designers, Luann, Vin, or Kim. Enjoy our free shop at home service. Luann, can I ask, what is there a typo there? Enjoy our free shop at home service.
No, that's a phrase in the window treatment industry. Shop at home.
Okay.
Shop at home.
Oh, got it.
Right.
But should there be hyphens or no? Shop at home.
I don't know.
Should there be hyphens? Okay.
I don't know.
Because it's a one idea. Shop at home. It's an adjective. Shop at home. It's a shop at home service.
Okay,
right?
so we need hyphens. Okay.
So right there, right. So I would say it's losing a little bit of polish there.
Okay.
But I would say that this is a thoughtfully written paragraph. It is succinct.
Okay.
It gets a point across. If this was not a thoughtfully written paragraph and not succinct, this would go on for like 2 to 3 sentences unnecessarily.
Okay.
You get to the point here.
Yep.
Okay. Number 4, does the website feel fresh, or rather, does the website help the business to feel fresh? When we go to and here's an example, when we go to here's an analogy rather, when we go to a restaurant and we sit down and they put the menu in front of us and the menu has a date on it and we say, oh my God, they printed this menu today. And we get that feeling of freshness, right? When we go to a website and we see, some kind of way that it feels very fresh. Usually, it's with blog articles being on the homepage with their date. That's how it's conveyed. What do you think? Does your website feel fresh?
Well, I mean, if you scroll down, you have latest news, and it has the latest to the trade blog post. I mean, it's the one about the podcast, right?
There you go.
Okay, so that's yesterday's.
And I think you're missing out on an opportunity, Luann, because it says latest news and it gives a title and then it gives a description, but it doesn't give the date. Now, you are really on your game with this. So you guys have been updating it, and you should put that out there, because there are some websites that hide the date, and the reason they do it is because they don't want to hold themselves accountable to those dates. Okay. So that's you're missing out on an opportunity there. Okay. Number 5, does the website feel guided? And I'll just take over here. Yeah. Because this is kind of an abstract one here. Does it feel guided?
Well, I mean, you have read more. If you got learn more under custom window treatments and learn more under awnings, and then after each of the things, it's read more. Then it says need more window treatment ideas. Yes, I want the free ebook, right?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. That's it.
If you can't follow those, Ian, you're not trying.
That's it. You nailed it. You nailed it. That is absolutely it. It is guided.
Okay. Good.
Absolutely. Does it feel beautiful? Does the work feel beautiful through this website for you?
Well, I would say for me, I would tell you here's what I would say. I would think from a window treatment perspective, and my peers in window treatments, I think it feels beautiful. But when I think about the Marie Flanagans and the Pope Designs of the world and what all these, then I'm like, I don't know. So I feel like what it is I feel like the actual layout has the same clean white feeling that's very important in most interior design sites now. But then it's not high end, crazy pants, unapproachable luxury looking.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing in my industry, when you go to most window treatment websites, they're almost like paint store websites.
Okay.
It's like, oh, here's all the blinds, and click here Hunter Douglas, and click here this, and click here Stumpy. And mine, I do objectively feel looks more like an interior design site than your run-of-the-mill window treatment site.
Got it.
So that's the rub there, because I actually that has been my mainstay. Like anytime I've had a website designed, and this is the 4th time I've had a website designed for WindowWorks, and the first 2 times were by different people, and then the 3rd and 4th by the same person. And I always just Google window treatments, and then I send them websites. I say, do not give me anything that looks like this. And then I Google interior designers, and I say, this is what I want it to look like.
Got it. Got it. So I would agree with you. I think your work it does look beautiful on your site, and I think it could. I give it a B plus A minus in terms of beauty, and I think to get it the rest of the way, I think that the photos in the gallery could feel more immersive.
Yes.
They could feel more immersive. If you click on one of these thumbnails, they don't. You don't plunge.
Right. You don't like. I
spaces.
have to see that. Right. I agree. I would agree with that.
There is something about viewing photos, especially on a phone, when they fill the screen, that just has impact.
Yes, I agree. The photos are like stepchildren. Okay.
All right. So next one. Does the website feel personal enough, approachable enough?
I don't know. I think so. It says about us. That is about Luann. You got a picture of me, for the House Smarts thing. If you go to About Us, I think that's where, I talk about us. I don't know. You tell me.
I agree. I agree.
Okay.
I agree. And I think one thing that makes it feel very approachable is you guys using your names. Not every business will do that. Number 8, does the website feel cohesive in terms of voice?
No, I know it doesn't.
Okay.
It's been written by all different people.
Right. See, and that's the thing, isn't it? And when it's written by different people, that's what happens. And this is one of the most overlooked aspects of web design that I see. And it's, for some reason, it's just not viewed as important. But as I said, I view websites as a conversation. Number 10. Does the business feel credible and authoritative? What do you think, Luann?
Well, I mean, you have me there on House Smarts. You have all the darn house accolades. There is a place for somewhere with testimonials. I don't know where it is right this second, but it's there.
Absolutely. And you have an ebook.
And I have an ebook, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No brainer.
I mean, we have on the house, we have the 50,000 saves. I mean, if anybody knows anything about house, they know that's like not so easy to get.
Right. No brainer, definitely.
Okay, good.
Does it feel actionable? Is it obvious what to do for someone who's never hired a window treatment specialist before?
Oh, see, I think you have to get into the pages to hear we talk about how to do that. Okay, what do you think?
Let me see. I think it is actionable enough. It could be more. It could be more. Yeah. At the bottom of the homepage, for example, there could be a button that says "Contact us to get started."
Okay.
Just because at the bottom, because your homepage, the format of your homepage, the layout of your homepage is one of these scrolling ones where it's episodic. We go from one thing to the next aspect to the next aspect, and then we get to the bottom. And typically, these layouts are used to give different aspects, different angles of something. And when we get to the bottom, it's really nice to have a button to tell us what to do next. Okay. Because we've just scrolling. So that's
I'll tell you, when you go to products and go to window treatments, for instance, then that's where all this stuff is happening. But what you're saying is don't bury it in here on a drop-down page. Because now we have, yes, I want the ebook. Here's my free shop at home. Click here. Here's my, my testimonials from House. Here's my Google review me. Like now all that's happening there.
Exactly.
But you need some of it on the first scrolling page is what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. And everyone out there, if you have a scrolling page like this, the thing that you put at the very bottom, put the number one thing that you want them to do after leaving your website. Okay. After leaving your website, because this is the place to put that signal, to send that signal of this is what I want you to do, everyone. Okay. So, and then number 12, does it feel polished overall? And yes, I think it does. I think it feels, in terms of polish, I would give it like a B plus, A minus in terms of polish. There's one bugaboo that I have about polish on the desktop experience.
Okay.
And that is that the navigation bar takes up about 1/5 of the height of the window. It takes up a lot of real estate.
Okay.
And this really.
Oh, and you know why that is? That's because the way my logo shape is.
That's exactly the reason.
Right.
It's two things.
We've gone around and around with that darn thing.
Yeah, it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle I put a lot of care and intention into in each website that I create. It's a really important thing. And in your case, your logo is your header. Definition of a header is the piece of the website that has that top navigation in it, and also the logo. Your header it has the logo, and underneath it has those items, right? Now, if your logo was on the left and those items were on the right,
well, and I'm going to tell you, we had it like that, but what happened is that, first of all, when the logo was on the left and these items were on the right, the thing looked bare. It's hard to believe, but it looked worse than it does now. And especially because I have so many navigation things. So I think once I offload the podcast and About Luann off of this and To the Trade would stay here, then what could happen is the logo can go back to the left and these things could be larger type, and then the whole bar can contract and be smaller. But I love it. Well, I'll tell you what, that is really cool. I think it was really neat that we were able to understand the 12 criteria. I think it was really neat that we were able to, of course, lots of people are running and walking and driving when they're listening to this, but if they're interested in the in-depth of the evaluation, you have both Ian's website and my website to go through and really see what his, his thoughts are and his, critiques are on the ways to make these, two websites better. And if you're doing this, then take the steps and do it to your own website. And if it's not measuring up, if it's something you can do for yourself, more power to you. But if it's not, then you've got Ian here of House Digital Design, who's happy to help us, and he's very knowledgeable. It's clear. And what I like is for things like this. Say I have Kimberly. And of course, now I'm going to Nicole, who also works in the industry. But for things like this, I think it is important to work with somebody who's in the industry and has, you have done 6, 7, 8, 10, however many other interior design websites. So you know what the standard is. It's like me, I had to keep going and saying, don't give me this blind website. That's what happens. And of course, I'm not saying that nobody out there with a window treatment business doesn't have a nice website, but I'm just saying is you pick 10, 8 of them look like blind or paint shops, and 2 of them are moving towards this. And I knew that I wanted ours to move towards this. So I think it's pretty awesome. I thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I encourage all of you out there, if you are evaluating your own website, and you do want, my perspective on it, all you got to do is take advantage of my website review, because that is the first step in terms of improving your website, whether you improve it yourself, whether you hire someone else to improve it, or whether you hire me to improve it. It's literally we go through your website. We talk about what is your website pain, what are your business goals, what do you want that website, what do you need that website to do for you business wise,
why,
and the design.
Right?
And what's your why?
Right.
And the design will flow from that. You know what I mean? So you can check it out. My pricing is on there. How much it costs for that website review. And also, Luann, before we recorded, I told you I wanted to give a little giveaway to your audience. Guys, this is so exciting. Check this out. I am giving away 5 website reviews to awesome. 5 website reviews to 5 design professionals. Or I should say professionals in the design industry, because actually I do work with others. Like, for example, I just did a website for Rachel Donay of Champagne Design Collective, who does PR. She does PR for for design professionals.
So industry, somebody in the industry.
Yep. Somebody in the industry. All right. 5 professionals in the design industry who reach out to me within 1 week of this podcast being aired, and who take the time to articulate your website pain.
Nice.
There is a there is a form that you can do to apply to say you're interested. All you got to do is go to housedigitaldesign.com. That's my website, housedigitaldesign.com/a-well-designed-business.
That's awesome.
And there's a hyphen between each word in a well-designed business.
Okay.
So you go there within one air of this, and guys, take advantage of this. This is a super, super cool service, and here I am. And if you're listening to this after 1 week from this podcast being aired, I still encourage you to check it out. It's a very, very powerful service that you can do. And like I said, the power of it comes from, even if you are adept at creating your own website, you hire someone else to, or you hire me, you get the blueprint.
Well, the great thing about it is it's that other set of eyes. It's that other person that's saying, like, when I was looking at your website, I knew you. So I was inferring information, and you were like, this could be a little bit more, personable. So that's the sort of thing that by somebody who doesn't know you looking at your website and just evaluating it as a professional who creates websites, that's amazing. That's a tremendous gift. And of course, we ran through both of ours quickly because, as it is, this show is probably the longest show I'm ever going to have on the air. But the thing is that we went through it. But if this was a thing here, I would have asked you for more instruction. Well, how would I do this, and why this? And you would have happily given it to me. And so that's
right.
exactly what you're explaining. It's an in-depth going through, and then at that point, like you said, if you want to turn around and go back and do all the stuff DIY, go right ahead. But if you want to engage and take to the next step, that's up to the individual people. But the gift is the gift.
And it gets even better because the session is screencast recorded so that they have it all
awesome.
Recorded as a video, and it comes with a typed list of bulleted points, actionable bulleted points afterwards as well.
That's terrific. Yeah, that's the icing on the cake right there. I didn't even realize that part. That's the icing on the cake. So you really can, go back and thoughtfully consider the suggestions and redo the copy and so forth like that. So that's awesome, right. Ian. I just can't even stand it. It's we didn't even get a chance to say, to shout out to our buddy out there, Mark McDonough from Tastefully Inspired, but I cannot end the show without doing that shout out. And of course, we also have Karina and Darla and all of our combined, our friends that are what's the word I want?
In the family.
Yes.
They're in the family.
Yeah. But I'm thinking it's communal, but that's not the darn word.
Oh.
I don't know what the word is, but in common, that's the word, our common friends. So, but honestly, I'm so grateful that I got to meet you through Mark, and I'm absolutely so grateful to meet Mark to begin with, and all the people that are just rippling from this initial relationship is really something else. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you again in Las Vegas in a week and a half. We're recording just like a week and a half, 2 weeks before we go there. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. I'll be there in Vegas. I'll see you in Vegas, and I'm going to be covering Vegas Market on the Tastefully Inspired Facebook page.
That's awesome.
A lot of live video. There might be some produced video as well. I'm really excited to do some really smooth video. I've got a new toy I'm playing with my camera, and bring you guys into Vegas Market. For those of you who are not able to make it to Vegas Market, let me be your eyes and ears. And you guys, and check this out. It's so interactive too, because you guys can tell me like what to go look at.
I know.
And I can literally go there and check it out for you guys.
I know. When you were at the ICFF, we did a Facebook Live at ICFF from Curated Cravat booth. But the day before, I'm watching your Facebook Live through the Tastefully Inspired website, through the Tastefully Inspired Facebook page. And you're like walking through, and all of a sudden I'm typing, I'm like, hey, there's Cravat. Stop there. Go there. And you're like, hey, okay, Luann.
That's exactly what happened.
That's very cool. So, all right. So that's very cool. So where everybody should, if you haven't liked the Tastefully Inspired Facebook page yet, you should go over and like that. You should, like mine too. I'm just saying. But, and Cravat Inc. as well. And we're going to be out there and we're going to have some fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
And not only like the Tastefully Inspired Facebook page, if you're interested in tuning in to the Vegas Market, you really want to double check that you're receiving notifications.
Right. You have to sign up so when they go live, right? Yep. Awesome.
So what you want to do is you want to like it, and then just, you go to it and fiddle around with the buttons there. I think it's a 3 dot on a mobile phone, and it'll just add, you can just check, receive notifications when they go live,
right.
et cetera.
Awesome. Yes. Do that for my page too, Luann Nigara. Okay. That's great, Ian. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Luann. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I hope to talk to you guys and meet you guys all one day.
Thank you for joining me again today for another episode of A Well-Designed Business. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks in Livingston, New Jersey, your trade resource for custom window treatments and awnings. Learn more about WindowWorks at www.windowworks-nj.com. All of our music is original music by Room 2 Productions. Please contact us if you want to learn more about original music for your business or your events.